Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and thank you so much for coming this morning. This is a tremendous and exciting morning for the Sydney Kings as we obviously make our first major appointment in terms of our playing and coaching staff on and off-court content that we talked about at our announcement a couple of weeks ago. Our intent when AEG Ogden took the acquisition of the Sydney Kings was to ensure that we restore the Sydney Kings' iconic status in basketball in Australia to the best possible level that it can attain. And the only way that you can do that is by bringing quality people into your organisation, both in terms of talent level, but also in terms of their personal characteristics and what they stand for that will reflect ours as a AEG Ogden-owned entity that the Sydney Kings are. So, following on from our announcement of the acquisition of the Kings a couple of weeks ago, we did make it very clear that we wanted to really ensure that the Kings are immediately competitive, and beyond competitive, we want them to be a team that reflects the tremendous passion for the game that many thousands over many decades in Sydney have had for their Sydney Kings. So we want to reflect that passion, and the first major announcement was always going to be to go out and get the right head coach that could do that for us at the Kings. Obviously, with our new head coach Andrew Gaze, who will speak in a moment, we couldn't be more excited about what lays ahead under his direction. A five-time Olympian who has fond memories of the Sydney market because of the tremendous and iconic, I guess, moment in history when the Olympic Games were in Sydney, but also a long legacy of many of his 612 NBL games having taken place at various Sydney Kings venues around Greater Sydney area. So the connection with Sydney with Andrew is actually very strong. Probably epitomised by that moment when he had the privilege of carrying the Australian flag into the stadium, but goes well and truly beyond that, and certainly both Andrew, myself and this organisation recognise that with the NBL and where it's planning on going, it cannot get to the level that we believe the league can attain without a strong Sydney Kings. So our intent is to bring that to the Sydney market. Again, just to reiterate on behalf of AEG Ogden's Chairman and CEO Harvey Lisch, on behalf of that entire organisation that we are privileged to work for, and on behalf of the Sydney Kings, as the new Managing Director, I'd like to, with great enthusiasm, announce Andrew Gaze as our head coach, and I'd invite you to come and have a word. Andrew, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. It's an absolute privilege to be up here to be appointed the new head coach of the Sydney Kings. The Sydney Kings are a very iconic brand in the National Basketball League, and it's great responsibility I feel that I have, and with the opportunity that's been presented to me, because it's not only important to the Sydney and New South Wales basketball, but it is very significant for the NBL. And there's a lot of challenges, and that's the thing that inspired me the most about this opportunity, was the challenges that are there for us and the opportunities that are there for the Sydney Kings, and of course the NBL. So it's a daunting task when you're inheriting a team that didn't do particularly well last season, and we only have two players signed. It was a real daunting task that Jeff proposed to me, but I'm one that I was looking forward to the challenge. I'm fully aware of the magnitude of the challenge and what lies ahead, and the various aspects that we need to get right to ensure that we are successful. But the thing that encouraged me most about this opportunity was the opportunity to work with Jeff, who I've known Jeff since we were teenagers. We were very young boys, and a good friend of mine, and he has a vision. He's proven before in the past that he can put together very competitive teams, and teams that have won titles with the Brisbane Bullets, and that gave me great confidence that the organisation was heading in the right direction. And then above and beyond that, of course, with Harvey Lisch, with what he's historically done in Brisbane. He's a previous owner in the NBL. He's aware of the strengths and the weaknesses and the challenges that we face, and getting the chance to meet Harvey and see his vision and his passion is something that it was inspiring. So we've got a lot of work to do, and I'm looking forward to what lies ahead. I'm looking forward to getting out there and working with the team, and also going through the process to identify the right people to represent this organisation. It's certainly success on the floor is critical and is what we are ultimately going to be judged by. But I think that we have an obligation to represent this city the way it needs to be represented. We want the Kings brand to be respected within the community and by our opponents, and we want to do everything we do. We want to try and do it with class and respect for the game, our fans and the players, and that's going to be equally as important as it is trying to get W's out on the court. So we look forward to what lies ahead, and certainly happy to answer any questions.
How do you feel making the transition from having a career as a player and moving into coaching?
Yeah, the transition for me, I think, is something that's been ongoing. Even when I was playing the game, with the way in which my dad, who has had the biggest influence on me, coached the team, and the way he empowered the players. You're assuming many of those coaching ideas when you're actually playing, and certainly when I finished playing, the coaching I've done at junior level, at the international level, taking teams over to China on a regular basis, and with the Melbourne Tigers in the State League, and now in the SEABL competition, you develop your philosophies, you learn how you want to play the game, and clearly that's been influenced by the coaches I've had in the past. And I've been lucky enough to play for some of the greatest coaches that the world has ever seen. And I take bits and pieces from all those and try and formulate my own ideas on how the game should be played and how you need to teach the game and get players engaged, and hopefully that's something that can get the best out of the players that we eventually do get. So with this move, the basketball side of things is not my biggest concern. It's about the change of environment. It's about trying to get new guys to come together. It's about living in a different place. It's about the issues you have with the family. They're the things that were the biggest concerns for me. The basketball side of things, I'm pretty sure that with the group that we've got around and the way in which we're looking not only for the now but to the future, that we're best positioned to reach our goal, and that is of course to win an NBL title.
You spoke about your dad. Obviously he's a champion, a coaching champion. What did he say when you found out that you were going to coach the Sydney Kings?
Yeah, no, my father, he was extremely supportive. He was the first one that I spoke to about this opportunity, and the initial concern was, well, what does it mean for the Melbourne Tigers? And it's something that we worked through with Jeff, that going to maintain an involvement with the Melbourne Tigers, and I think that collectively between what the Tigers do at that next level down and the Sydney Kings do, there's a lot of ways in which we can help each other. And I think that the one of the great things about Jeff and the roles that I've had in since finishing playing, being on the BA board and various administrative roles within the sport, I think there's a good understanding by Jeff and Harvey that in order for this the sport to be successful and the Sydney Kings to be successful, there's got to be a whole of sport approach. We need the state competitions to be vibrant and strong. We need the SEABL competition to be vibrant and strong, and provided we build that pyramid the right way and we help each other out, then I think we all have a great chance for success. And I think that there's sometimes there's a bit of a gap between the NBL and the rest of the competitions that are in place around the country, and we fully recognise that that's the important link that we have to make. We have to make it here in New South Wales. We've got to connect with the associations. They've got to feel part of this journey that we're on. We've got to connect with the State Basketball Association here. We've got to make all those connections in order for us to have the best chance to have success, and not just immediate success. We're talking about sustained success and being an organisation that our fans can expect is going to be competitive year in, year out.
Go
Go on.
Is this the biggest challenge in Australian basketball? In the past, there's always been so much expectation on Sydney.
There is a lot of expectation, you know, with the population base and what that means from a commercial standpoint, from television, all those other factors that come into play. The sport is enhanced with a successful Sydney Kings program. And that comes with great responsibility that Jeff has, that I have, that Harvey has, that we all have, and we recognise the importance of that to the sport as a whole. So there are pressures that come along with that, but there are things I personally welcome. You welcome those opportunities because the rewards for success are so great as well. My job and my challenge is no less or no harder than what it is for every other coach in the competition. We're about trying to find build programs that are sustainable, that can get the right players to want to come and play for your organisation, that that's good to the community, that is well respected. And if you put all that foundation in place, you're giving yourself the best chance for that sustained success.
Drew, you talked about building a team. What are the kind of players you're actually looking at to be a part of this organisation and this journey that you're on?
Well, we're looking for guys that are highly skilled and talented, and certainly what they do and have done on a basketball court is absolutely essential to our selection process. But it's also about their character and the way in which they conduct themselves, the way in which they can engage in the community, and also the way in which they're good teammates. They are very important characteristics to our selection process, and one of the reasons that I'm excited to be here, and I can't take credit for it because the process started a lot longer, but it's unbelievably humbling for me to have a man of Kevin Lisch's status, who's the current league MVP, willing to come and join this journey that we're on. And it just so happens that the great man is here today. So if I could ask Kevin to come forward and join us, because I've admired Kevin with what he's been able to do, sitting on the sidelines, watching him on television, watching him win championships, and certainly as a commentator, just being in awe of what he's been able to do out there on the floor. And I'm praying every single day that he can do it again this year, this season coming up. But it's great to have Kevin on board, and thank you for having faith in Jeff and myself and Harvey, and hopefully we have a fun ride ahead of us with the Sydney Kings. Thanks very much. You want to say a few words?
If you want me to say a few words,
Any questions as well?
Yeah, questions, words, but I think first of all, I just feel blessed and honored just to have this opportunity to join the Kings. And as Andrew said, and to reiterate, I think the challenge ahead of us is such an exciting motivation thing that I already can't wait for practices to start. The season just ended, so it's just an amazing opportunity for myself, my wife Rachel, Benjamin, Sophia, my kids. Really, I don't know what to say. I've had great experiences, playing all over the world, playing in Australia, but I'm just so much looking forward to this new opportunity and new step. So.
Yeah, so what do you know about Andrew and your respect for him as a former player?
Oh, well, I know, he has an MVP award named after him, so I think that says a lot. And just as a player, just unbelievable all over the world. As a player myself, I'm looking forward to learning under him, and what better teacher could you have? So it's just a great opportunity. Obviously, thank Harvey and Jeff and the professionalism and their dedication to this program, which really made this such an appealing choice for me.
Was it a difficult decision to move from Wollongong, and obviously the only coach you've ever had at the NBL, and you did better?
Oh, I had great experiences there, and whichever team I'm playing for, I love playing the game, so I have fun. But this is something that you put all the facts together, and it was something that I just really jumped at the chance to do. So from a basketball perspective, from a family perspective, which is, as Andrew alluded to, which is just as important, and which is important to the wife. You got to keep them happy, obviously. It ticked all the boxes.
So Drew, just as a follow-up, when you discussed this with Melinda, what was her reaction?
Well, it was interesting. We went through some various phases of the decision-making process, but in all honesty, it was my wife and the kids that really encouraged me to do it. When I'm raising my kids and teaching them and trying to give them the best opportunities, which really tried to have a philosophy to experience as much as you can and live life to the most. And you only live once. These types of mottos and cliches that we try to act out as well to encourage them to have as many experiences as possible. So when this came around and we're going toing and throwing and wondering, well, what does this mean for the way in which we build our family up, it was the kids and Melinda that was throwing it back on me to say, Dad, you're always telling us this is what you got to do. You got to go for it sometimes, and ultimately they were the ones that convinced me that this was the right thing to do. Them and my dad. My dad was really, really supportive, and he felt that it was an opportunity for me to challenge myself, step out of the comfort zone that I was in, and that's what I enjoy the most. I enjoy the competition. It's sometimes hard because you've got to deal with the consequences of competition, and with that, you're going to lose some along the way. But it's going through those tough times and how you work your way through it that you learn a lot about yourself. And sport's a great vehicle to do that, where as long as you keep it in perspective, it's a wonderful thing, and hopefully that we can have more good times than bad. But we know that that's just one of the consequences of participating in sport.
Just on your dad, when you said that he was such a big influence, what do you think you've gleaned from him? Do you think it's that you'll be able to coach into the game? Is it attitude, approach to the game?
I think that the biggest thing that I've got from my dad is making sure you keep it in perspective. We're out here, and it is high stakes. It's high stakes for the ownership group. It's high stakes for the sport. All those elements that go along with it. But ultimately, you've got to keep it in perspective and really understand and appreciate what's really important. And if you can combine that perspective on things, and that family, your friendships, all those things, and how you build that into your program and keep perspective, and try and keep an even keel through those good times and bad, then you have the best chance of having success. And one of the things that he prided himself on and certainly was able to live out, which I'm still learning. If you hadn't seen a game of basketball and you caught up with my dad an hour after the game, and you tried to tell from his demeanour and his behaviour whether he'd won or lost, it would be impossible. I'm not quite like that. I'm probably got a little bit more of my mum in me and a little bit more emotional. But that's my goal, because you do have to keep perspective, and on top of that, a system and style of play. That's one of the things that helped me throughout my career. And if we get the right system in place, and hopefully it's one of those things that the personnel can buy into that system, and we can have fun in the process of trying to compete and play at the highest level, and hopefully strive towards achieving our goal.
What does this mean for the current playing group? I mean, great signing with Kevin. We see more signings to come now?
Yeah, well, definitely. Right now, we've got 3 players. We've got Kevin, we've got Julian Kazoo, and I believe we've got Jeremy Hill, who was on the team last season. They're the only 3 players we have at this point in time. But there was some good talent on the team. We're certainly interested in Jason Cadee. He was a member of the team last year that we're talking to him. There's a number of other players on the team that we're talking to, but they've gone through some pretty tough times, and I can appreciate and respect that they might be looking for for new beginnings. This is a new beginning, and it's going to be something different, but they might be looking for a completely different new change. So we respect that and acknowledge and work with them to make sure that they find opportunities that they're comfortable with, but hopefully we'll be able to hang on to some of them.
Is this the shot in the arm that the NBL on a whole needs as well?
The
NBL, the whole competition, there's real, something like this is a real boost for the whole competition.
Well, time will tell. I think that if we're able to achieve our goals and be more competitive on the court and help promote the game off the court, it's something that I'm sure the NBL is desperately seeking. They need and want and will do whatever they can to assist us to ensure that we have the best chance to be competitive, as they would with all the franchises in the competition. But this is a big TV market, it's a big commercial market, it has significant impact not just for this market but for the broader competition. So that's something that we respect, and we do our best to fulfil those obligations, not just for us but for the entire competition. So hopefully we can quickly turn around our fortunes on the floor, but it may take some time. We're coming from a pretty low base. The team didn't win too many games last year and finished last, and a lot of that you could attribute just to bad luck. Not having Julian for an extended period of time, and with Childress being out for most of the season. If you take the two prime players, the best players out of any team in the competition, it is going to have a significant impact. So I think that they were much better positioned than their results indicated last year, but we got to build on that, and we've got to make sure that we put together a team that's going to be something that this city can be very proud of.
When it comes to putting together a team, you have Kevin, who's now in Australia. How excited are you to potentially bring in 3 boys?
Well, it all comes down to talent. I don't care where they come from. If they can play, they can come from anywhere. So for us, it's about getting the best talent possible. Kevin, he's got an amazing opportunity ahead of him now, because he has the chance to represent Australia at the Olympic Games. And for him, and I know how much that he loves this country and what it would mean to him to have that opportunity, is just a fantastic privilege that he has, and we are 100% supportive in doing whatever we can to make sure that he gives himself the best chance to do that.